how's it going? I would like to talk to you today about Tourette syndrome because it's a disorder that's not very well understood and it gets made fun of a lot. Movies like Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, I've heard it get made fun of on Tyra and even Dexter, one of my favorite shows, which made me very sad because I have Tourette syndrome. Now, Tourette syndrome is not, contrary to popular belief, yelling bad words for no apparent reason. It's not road rage, it's not anything like that. That particular tic is extremely rare among people with Tourette's, and it's called coprolalia. It affects about 15 to 30% of people with Tourette's, and it's not the same thing. The best example of coprolalia, the most accurate example, would be Boondock Saints. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. The bartender has coprolalia, and obviously it's a very severe tic, and people with that particular tic, it affects their lives greatly, and my aunt actually had that tic when she was a teenager, but doesn't anymore. So I'm going to explain to you a little bit more about what Tourette's is, and hopefully set the record straight. So Tourette's is a genetic neurological disorder that affects less than 1% of all people, and it involves multiple motor tics and at least one vocal tic. Some different kinds of tics are things like there are simple tics and there are complex tics, and there are motor and vocal. So some simple motor tics would be things like eye twitching or eye blinking, nose wrinkling, grimacing, shoulder shrugging, that kind of thing. Simple vocal tics would be something like throat clearing, that's what I had, barking noises, grunting, squealing, gulping sort of sounds. My dad does like a gulping sort of sound in the back of his throat. Let's see, complex motor tics would be things like jumping or twirling, even like kicking, not because they're mad at you or anything, just like that kicking motion, the need to kick your leg out. Complex vocal tics would be things like coprolalia, which I already talked about, the yelling of bad words. Again, very rare, very severe, not something to be joked about. The people who have that are really suffering with that. Echolalia is the repeating of words or sounds that you've heard, and palilalia is repeating of your own words. So I'd say something like, palilalia is repeating of your own words, something like that. I had a friend who had that one. So what a tic is like, it's kind of like a sneeze or an itch. It's like you're not consciously doing it, it's just you have this feeling and you need to sneeze. You know, you got that tickle in your nose and you have to sneeze, or you have that itch and you can't not scratch it, or you just keep thinking about it and thinking about it. And it's just really hard to subdue. Let's see, a lot of people with Tourette's also have things like OCD or ADHD. To get into a little bit of the science behind it, I know most of you might not care, but just in case you're curious, it's autosomal semi-dominant, like I said, genetic, and it affects the most recent research suggests that it is caused by an excess of dopamine receptors. Dopamine is one of the many neurotransmitters in the brain, and it's possibly caused by an excess of dopamine receptors in a part of the brain called the basal ganglia. That's actually the same part of the brain that's involved in Parkinson's, except in Parkinson's they don't have enough dopamine, which allows that part of the brain to initiate movement. To simplify it beyond what it should be simplified, but you know, we're not all neuroscientists. So yeah, like I said, that part of the brain is also involved in things like OCD and ADHD. Dopamine is involved in the reward system. So it's these movements kind of they have to be done. It's very difficult to explain, but like I said, itch or a sneeze is the best way to kind of compare it. A lot of the medications will be things like dopamine blockers. Before they came up with better medications, they'd put people with Tourette's on like schizophrenia medications because those block dopamine, but now they've come up with more specific ones that just block the type of receptor that is most involved in Tourette's. Norepinephrine is also kind of a key player in Tourette's. So, you know, like I said, it's genetic. A lot of people in my family have it. The only person in my family who's ever had coprolalia was my aunt when she was a teenager. Now she sniffs. That's her tick. People think she has allergies or a cold. My little brother is going through a pretty hard time right now because all his ticks are just starting to develop. It's actually worst between the ages of 8 and 12, typically, and into adolescence, which, as you can imagine, would make middle school incredibly difficult. So I just want people to understand more and not make fun of something that they don't understand, and not kind of classify it as something that it's not. Especially, you know, if you're gonna make fun of it, at least know what it is. So thanks for listening. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, give me 5 stars, and I'll see you later. Bye.